rock.
Jimmy Juice Podcast, man.
Let's go.
Figgy best in the world, that's what he do, know what I'm talking about. Ryan Rock, born and raised in the H-Town, Houston, Texas. Know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Let's go. In the jacuzzi, smoking threats. I got my feet up. Cut them haters off. I told them beat it. I don't need you. Spend 50 racks in cash, but it's all good. I got my visa. This rolling gun, I'm staring at me like the Mona Lisa. My ghetto, Nike. I beat it like a creature. She always like my sneakers. These Jordan 5 pink aces. Let's go. I'm knocking them down, baby, back in the row. He really the one.
But they already know.
Put on all of my chains, go put on the show.
Giving up gins, sipping my juice. Counting up beans, addicted to ends. Need to back in on whatever I do. We get it in on the daily. I get it rocking like this with the 80. We really 10-toe down on the pavement. What's up? We about to see what they saying.
Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Let's go. Gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. Rockin' gym, vippin' juice. So let's go.
What do you have to say to everyone if we still consider the Astros cheaters?
Where the bitches at? It's supposed to be titties. Where the fucking titties and the bitches?
You what we call a tender dick nigga.
Some people call me Tip, but this is about another kind of Tip.
I told you, he did that shit. Guilty as fuck.
Man, I forgot about that Jay Prince drop, man. I can't. That takes me out every time. I don't know what we call that. I don't know no we call anybody that, man. But yeah, that's a wild one.
Yeah.
Haven't heard from old Jay Prince recently, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't heard from him either. I started to because I feel like the block not as hot now because I feel like he had a lot going on. But I've been debating on reaching back out to that email that got him on this podcast from the beginning back in 2020, seeing if he want to hop on again.
Hey man, why not?
Yeah,
I haven't heard from him lately. I know he was on a media tour for a while, and I know he had a book that came out, so that was part of it. But I feel like even well after that, he was still. You see him on podcasts a lot. You see him doing the IG lives and posting a lot, and I haven't heard from him a lot lately at all. Especially considering all the drama that Drake done been through and all this stuff that's gone on.
Yeah,
I'm kind of surprised.
The last thing I heard from him, and it was kind of a little messy, drama messy, but I think this is around the time Shakur Stevens was. I think he had his fight, and people were saying it was a boring ass fight.
Oh yeah.
And Cam started kind of talking about how it was a boring fight and all that. And then I think him and Shakur Stevens kind of got into it. And then I think Jay Prince jumped in, with his post and all that. And that's when Mace was like, "We're not your little niggas."
Yeah, maybe that's what made him fall back because Mace did kind of cook him, man. And I don't ever see Mace really get involved in that type of shit either.
Yeah,
but that's usually Cameron the one that go off on people. But that was too funny, man. Maybe that's what made Jay Prince kind of fall back. I don't know.
He like little niggas got big homies. Went through that whole thing. We're not.
Yeah, that's what got me in trouble. I don't respect no or whatever the fuck he said. I can't remember, but
everybody always talk about Mace. You gotta chill for what? Who is that nigga? I kind of feel him on that though, man. Because sometimes it be some people where you be like, "Hey, he cool," and be like, "Who the fuck is that? Like, what you mean?"
For real.
Yeah, I kind of feel him on that. That could cause for a lot of trouble though. But Yeah, it's funny. I ain't sitting here saying, don't respect the big homies and all that stuff. I never like calling people big homies or big bro or nothing like that, man. Especially look, I'm a grown man. I ain't about to call I'm 36 years old. I ain't about to call, even if I did have a big brother, I ain't about to call him big bro, man. It's just bro at this point. I'm definitely ain't about to call somebody that's not even related to me big bro. Dog, we got these same bills, man.
Yeah, like what was it? Udonis Haslam talking about LeBron, who's older than LeBron, and said during the bubble, "What we doing, big bro?"
Yeah. That's so crazy too, man. Because it's a lot of people like that, man. It's a lot of people who, like especially in the streets, it'd be some older dudes calling the younger dudes big bro because they got more money and all that, got more going on. It's like, man, I'm not calling somebody younger than me big bro.
Yeah, that's extremely embarrassing, man. I think a lot of people also, even the bro thing, I think a lot of people like force the whole family angle. It really got to me when I found out that what's his name? Offset wasn't related to Quavo or Takeoff.
Yeah.
And that really got me because he's like, they was play cousins or something. Like they was just friends for a while.
Yeah,
like, okay, y'all not
third grade or something.
Yeah. It's like, okay, y'all not family, man. That don't count. Just because y'all been cool since elementary.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been cool with people for a long time and I'd never talk to them again after a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't even no falling out type thing. It's like they moved or I moved or some shit happened and just we kind of fell out of touch.
Yeah. Or
cool, but
yeah, or even
he ain't my family. I'm not gonna go around calling him my cousin.
Yeah, even if we were cool, man, and still cool to this day, I would say that's like a brother to me.
Yeah,
or we good friends or something like that. Family friends. I'll do all this other stuff. I ain't about to call him. I ain't about to address him as my brother. I would do some weird like brothers, or we close like brothers or something like that.
Brother to me, but at the end of the day, if he ain't blood related, man, that don't count. Don't call nobody who's not your blood big bro or bro. I get bro, but don't. If somebody died, don't say, because I've seen this too. If your friend dies, don't be like, man, my brother died. Yeah. It's like, I mean, like, damn, that's crazy. Oh, he was my friend since like second grade. Like, okay, well, that's a little different, man. Okay,
yeah, and then really get complicated with people like, oh, y'all brothers, or y'all look like, oh no, we're not real brothers, we just friends. But
explain it.
You gotta do all that, man. I don't even like doing that. Like I kind of got in a situation before, because I got a brother-in-law, and sometimes sometimes I don't be wanting to say, oh, this is my brother-in-law, my brother. Sometimes I say this is my bro or something like that. And people be like, wait, that's your bro? And I'm like, no, that's my brother-in-law. So now I gotta say brother-in-law.
Yeah.
People gonna think it's my real brother. And then they're gonna be like, wait, if this your sister, and it sound like this my brother-in-law, to kind of keep all the confusion down.
Yeah, it's best to just say the whole thing, man. You can't be abbreviating brother-in-law because people gonna get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I digress. We done went down a whole rabbit hole of bros and brothers and all this shit. But welcome to our bros that listen to the podcast. We're back at it. Jims and Juice back at it again, man. Big week in Houston, man. I feel like a lot's going on. Really popping now, especially even though football season ain't started. We got some big basketball news done percolated. We got to say goodbye to a legend, H-Town legend, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let's get to that real quick since we're already on it, man. I feel like let's talk about Kate.
Real quick, man. Happy DJ Screw Day, man.
Oh, yeah, June 27th. That's right. Yeah. Paul Gallant actually hit me up yesterday because I almost forgot today was June 27th. He hit me up yesterday, wanted ESG's number. And because he wanted to maybe talk to him on the show. I didn't have it at the time. I have it now, but my sister got it to me way late. But anyway, happy June 27th. Happy it's past Juneteenth now.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy June 27th to everybody. How do you feel about every team doing merch and jumping in on June 27th day. I know the Astros got something they done launched, but you got to be at the team store to get it. You can't get it online.
Yeah,
And the Texans got something too.
Yeah, I think the Astros. Did you say the Astros or
yeah?
Okay, I'm not sure if the Rockets doing something, but I saw the Dynamo pretty much doing something too. I will say this: you probably would know more than me, but I feel like everybody just started doing this a few years ago, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I want to say, it's a good look. It's cool. And I think it's a good look because for that simple reason that they wasn't doing that at one point. And I'm sure back then people was like, man, they need to do something, or it'd be cool if they do. So I kind of like that they doing it. And I'm also looking at how this is pretty much a low-hanging fruit for the city. It's easy for people for them to just do this and get people on board and all that stuff. But when you think about it, man, it's kind of dope seeing these professional teams in the city honor somebody like a DJ Screw, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. In general, I'm not a big fan of how the merch looks. I'm tired of stuff that just says H-Town, but I'm looking at the Astro stuff. It does look pretty good. I like the DJ Screw. Yeah, I like the jacket. It's not bad this year. I'm looking at it. It's not bad. Yeah, I'm cool with it, man. I'm assuming that a lot of it goes to the family, or at least a portion goes to DJ Screw's family. They do use his name and likeness, so I would hope they're cutting him and his family a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
But I like it, man. I don't think it's corny. But I do think it's funny how so long after the fact that he's just now getting this type of recognition. I mean, he died over 20 years ago. Now, at this point.
I want to say year 2000.
Yeah, so it's very funny. It took this long for Houston to really embrace, I guess, mainstream Houston to embrace this rap culture.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't know who to credit for that. I want to say a part of it might have to do with, even though nobody wants to admit it, I think Drake might have helped a lot, man. I think his Houston Appreciation Week, I think stuff like that, highlighting the legends, because before that, I didn't see teams doing this for June 27th. I didn't see a lot of major brands of Houston recognizing DJ Screw or the hip hop legacy of Houston, and now they are.
Yeah.
So I think that might have played a part, because I don't know what else it could be.
Yeah, that was definitely a start. I wonder. I'm trying to think, when did the first major team actually start this? Like, came out and said, you know what, let's honor DJ Screw, because I wonder if it was around 2020 too. I wonder if that
might be, yeah.
Yeah, because that was around the time I felt like because I know the Texans started leaning into the city a lot.
Yeah,
during the bad times. Bad time, I mean like record-wise bad times. Like 2021, 2022. That's when they kind of started trying to be more H-Town and play a little more rap music.
Yeah.
In the stadium.
You think it was a George Floyd thing too? Everybody was.
I think so. So. But I want to say I feel like the Dynamo been leaning into the city a lot more too. Like, I don't know if they was the first ones to start it. I know soccer is way more loose, and they kind of lean into the uniform and the purple and stuff like that. So I don't know if they were the first ones to do it, but I think it's cool, man. I think it's super dope, man, because especially if you look at the history of DJ Screw, it wasn't like, we ain't talking Beyonce or Selena, somebody that was just at the top of their game and, just known all over the world at that time when he passed. Anything. This was kind of like I want to call it a local thing, because everybody around kind of knew DJ Screw and what he was doing. But this ain't something that's super sexy for teams to kind of promote, especially knowing you know, how he died and stuff like that. I think it's cool, man. I think it's pretty dope. Professional teams are actually doing stuff like this for the city.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like the fact that they lean into the culture, and I like the fact that it was like announced as an official city day and all that, the DJ Screw Day. So yeah, I like it. By the way, for people who don't know, it is not DJ Screw's birthday.
Yeah.
Common misconception, and I get the confusion. It is I forget whose birthday it was. It was somebody else in the Screwed Up clique. But it's not DJ Screw's birthday. It was just the day that the June 27th song was made to celebrate his birthday. And it's a legendary long freestyle with a lot of Screwed Up clique legends on it over a classic H-Town beat. It's actually a crisscross beat, which I found out way later. But yeah, so that's the actual story behind it. It's not DJ Screw's birthday.
Yeah, so it was actually Big Demo's birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, just in case people didn't know. Yeah. But anyway, back on to major H-Town news. We have a new champion coming to our Rockets team, and we have to say goodbye to another legend.
Kobe in the making, man. He was
Kobe in the making, maybe in the next Jordan compared to whoever you're talking to. But yes, Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks and some draft picks, I believe, were sent to Phoenix in return for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is now a Houston Rocket. He will be playing next season, of course. And we did not have to trade our best players, man. We kept Amin, we kept Segun, we kept Jabari, we kept our best young players, and traded away one who was, to be honest, inconsistent at times, but when he was on, he was on. So it is funny how I did see people that were still upset about this trade, man.
Still to this day, right now.
I was arguing with one of my friends. but what are your thoughts about this trade, Figgy? Do you think Phoenix got fleeced? Do you think that Houston gave up on Jalen too soon? What are your thoughts in general about this monumental trade for the Houston Rockets?
Yeah, I wouldn't say Phoenix got fleeced, but they were really in a lose-lose situation, man. Because even though Kevin Durant didn't have a no trade clause or anything like that, but they wasn't going to get a trade done if Kevin Durant didn't want to go to that place. So it was kind of unofficial trade clause or unofficial no trade clause. And I thought it was a really good deal. I thought they was going to give up more. I thought it was going to be more picks. I thought it was going to be at least a young player like a Jabari Smith or Torrey Easy. I thought it was going to be like another young player. But for the simple fact, you only gave up Jalen Green. And I feel like the Rockets got a lot of young players now, including one that didn't even play as much last year, and Reed Shepard. So I really wasn't losing sleep over the 10th overall pick, man. But I thought this was a great deal for the Rockets, man. You only gave them their pick back from this year and a bunch of second round picks that I don't really care for, man. I don't think you passing up on the Jokic or Draymond Green or something in the second round.
He passed up on the Bronny James, man.
No. But I think the good thing is you still got some of Phoenix picks. I think you got their pick for, I think it's next year or 2027, something like that. So you still got some stuff to work with. So I think it was a great trade, man. I do think in the back of my mind, I think about this in the back of my mind. What if Jalen Green do kind of figure something out? And maybe Kevin Durant only got 1 year, or maybe he's hurt all the time. And then you got Jalen Green over there being consistent finally. I do think about that a little bit, but I feel like they can't take the chance to sit there and wait and hope that he does become consistent. I think a move like this, you got to go with it, man. And it wasn't, you didn't gut the team or anything like that. So I think the Rockets really got a good trade. I don't think Phoenix got fleeced. I think their hands was tied because I even seen, I want to say they were looking into trading KD to Cleveland for Darius Garland.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, damn, I would have. I feel like Darius Garland is better than Jalen Green. I would have did that move, but I don't think KD wanted to go to Cleveland. I think he really wanted to go to Houston. So that's where Phoenix hands were tied. So I think they got a really good deal, man. It was better than I thought. Like I said, I thought it was gonna be a couple first round picks and like Jalen Green and a young player, but I think they got a really good deal, man.
Yeah, honestly, man, they did. When I saw the details of the trade, I was shocked. I was like, man, I really thought we were gonna have to give up some other big young players, and I knew Jalen Green would have to be involved in it. We talked about this on the podcast as well. I wasn't sure what was gonna happen, but I was down for it if all we had to give up was Jalen, basically. And Dylan Brooks does hurt. He was a good player as well.
Brooks. Yeah,
that does hurt, but
Yeah.
I mean, we'll live. As far as Jalen goes, man, here's the thing that people don't really consider. It's possible that he's going to be a great player. It's also possible that he would never be great here.
Yeah.
Maybe he has to get that that thing on his shoulder that pushes him to the next level by getting traded, even though to a team that he wanted to stay with, he has to leave. Also, maybe the coaching staff is different. Maybe he gets coached differently. Maybe he goes through something else. Maybe he has teammates that can help him in different ways. But he was going into his 5th season with the Rockets, man. And I feel like at this point, as a player, we kind of know who you are as a player in general. Yes, you have some people that bloom late. I know people bring up Shea as somebody who was traded and then became MVP and now NBA champion. But that ain't the case for everybody, man. Okay, let's be real. And also, Jalen did not have a minimized role with the team. He had the key to the offense. He could do what he wanted. And we saw what he did.
Yeah.
So it's possible that he goes over there in Phoenix and he's a star. It's also possible that he stayed here and never became what we thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
So even if the trade doesn't work out, I can't say the Rockets this was a bad idea to go after Kevin Durant and let Jalen Green go. It would suck if KD just gets hurt or doesn't really play to the level that we've known him to play at, and we go and see Phoenix in the playoffs doing these deep runs with Jalen scoring a whole lot. But even if it don't work out, I can't blame the Rockets for making this move, man. I really can't.
What will it take for you to be kind of I don't want to say pissed off, but what kind of run Jalen Green will have to go on for you to feel like, damn, why they should have held their cards on Jalen Green?
If he became league MVP, I would be like, okay, maybe we should have held on to him. If he becomes MVP of the league, if he's that good of a player, then I'd be like, okay, you know what, we fucked up. But if that don't happen, anything less than that, if the Suns don't win a championship, if he's a good but not great player, I'll be fine with it. If he turns into a really great player, I'll be kind of pissed. I said, 5th season going into it, I didn't see it.
How would you feel if he turned into Tyrese Halliburton?
I feel a certain type of way.
Okay, because he's not an MVP, but he's really good. Had a really good postseason. So I would feel that way if he turned into Tyrese Halliburton.
I would too. I mean, if he's that clutch, after we've seen him not be that with the Rockets, if he turned into a player that was that clutch and that good and can lead a team to the finals, yeah, I feel a certain type of way.
That would be a miracle, to be honest,
Yeah.
because I feel like he's right now. I don't feel like he's clutch. That's kind of my issue with him, man. He's not the type of person that say, "Give me the ball, I'm about to win this game." It seemed like he kind of frees up a little bit, and you look over there, it's like, damn, he only got 8 points. I feel like Fred VanVleet was the guy that had to say, "Give me the damn ball."
Yeah,
and that's not a good sign to me, man. If Fred got to be the one to carry the squad like that, he ain't that type of player to me. So if Jalen Green all of a sudden, I don't think it happened, but if he all of a sudden turned to that, man, I would be like, damn, where the hell was that at?
Dog, at the end of the day, we traded a 42% field goal shooter for a 52% field goal shooter, man. And I'm sorry, on paper, you can't argue that fact. Yeah. All right. Kevin Durant is way more efficient. Kevin Durant is just way more on than he is off. And Jalen, we've seen him when the shot's not falling, we see him struggle a lot. So yeah, I can't knock it. Look, I've never been the biggest fan of Kevin Durant. But I'm with it, man. I'm with it. I think that is something. He is something that the Rockets desperately needed to beat the Warriors. I think with Kevin Durant healthy, the Rockets easily beat the Warriors. And I'm ready to see what this experiment looks like. I'm hyped for it. I understand people in the city don't like KD. Look, I'm mad that I can't play the song no more. The Lil B classic.
Oh yeah,
I got to give it up.
Did you see? He was still going in on KD.
Yes.
and then he ended up apologizing after talking to E40. I'm like, what? It's still a thing?
Wait, who apologized? KD?
No, Lil B.
Oh, really?
He tweeting saying, just got off the phone with E40, and pretty much apologized.
See, I didn't even see what Lil B said is that bad. He just said he want to play KD at basketball.
Yeah,
like joking around basically. And then KD shot at him hard. He was like, "You used to be something. I'm still that," or some shit like that. I'm like, damn, you had to do him like that. Don't do Lil B like that.
Yeah.
All right, Daytown legend, Bay Area legend. So yeah, I did see that, and I thought it was unwarranted for KD to go back at Lil B. But you could tell that song really pissed him off. It'll piss me off too, man, because that song is very catchy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I did see that, a little bit of that, and it was funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, KD is a Rocket now. We're gonna see what that is.
It's gonna be fun to watch him play at Toyota Center, man. That should bring some people out there too, man. Just to kind of see Kevin Durant, because it's crazy how a dude that tall play the way he play, man. That's something I feel like you gotta see at some point. Like, let me just see this dude play in person, because I feel like, well, I don't want to say eventually, because I mean you got people like Wemby and stuff like that. I feel like we will see more 6'11", 7-footers playing that way like that. But he's somebody you tell your grandkids, like, man, I remember Kevin Durant, people used to think he was like 6'9", but he was really 6'11", 7 foot, and played like a guard. Like it'd be dope to watch him play for the Rockets.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm gonna try to go to a game. I didn't go to a game last year, but I got to call my Connect so we can get them good seats again. But yeah, and it is funny how the Rockets ended up with all of OKC's best players of 2012. We got, of course, first we got James Harden, who turned into a superstar here. Then we got Russell Westbrook later on, and now we got Kevin Durant. And I wanted to have Stephen A. Smith arrested for the tweet he put out there trying to get Russell Westbrook back on the Rockets.
Yeah. I'm like, that don't make any sense. Like, even if I had to think about that, I'm like, damn, that don't even make. I don't even think they need a player like that.
We've
Get
seen what Russell Westbrook looks like on the Rockets, man. I don't want to see it again. Look,
We,
I know he has a.
we also seen what he looked like with the Lakers, with the Clippers, with the Nuggets. He was all over the place. Washington.
Yes.
That brother was traveling, man. He was traveling like money. And I seen no type of spark from him, man, or at least not the MVP type of Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, we're never gonna see that the Russell Westbrook that had his teammates help him get a triple double by letting him get all the rebounds and by him getting 10 assists and stop shooting or stop passing. And yeah, we're never gonna see that again, man. No team's gonna do that bullshit. Also, most fraudulent MVP of all time. Let's be honest, man.
Damn, really?
Most fraudulent MVP of all time. I would even put that as worse than Joel Embiid's that he cried over and didn't deserve. That fake ass triple double average over the season, man. I can't believe anybody respected that.
Yeah.
Such basic stat chasing should not be awarded in the league, man. That was disgusting.
See, the thing is, we never saw that. The last time we saw that was Oscar Robertson. So they were making a big deal about that. But I felt like once he won it and achieved that record, then I feel like we never brought that up again.
No.
We never brought that up. We still talk about how pretty much Steve Nash robbed who was it? Shaq? Was it Shaq?
Shaq was crying. Kobe, I think people wanted Kobe.
Yeah, how Steve Nash won it twice and all that stuff. And even I think it was one year. I think it was the year before Steph really went off, but Steph Curry had that first year where people was just like, I don't know about that. But then the second year, it was unanimous. But yeah, nobody ever went back to this. Remember that year Russell Westbrook averages triple double? We never went back to that
because people like him and they like his personality and they don't want to be honest about what happened there, man. They don't be honest to the fact that they rewarded stat chasing and bullshit rebounds and assists. All right. They don't want to admit the fact that he might be the worst player to win MVP of the modern era. Let's be honest, man. I know he was explosive and fun to watch, but he could not shoot a three to save his life. He just played very out of control a lot of the time, and he never led a team anywhere.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm sure he's a nice guy. So I do not want to see him back on the Rockets, though, at all.
Just don't call him Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, that's too offensive, man. That's crossing the line. Okay, have you seen his family? Is this the man you're making fun of? And you see his kids and shit. Speaking of Stephen A. Smith, man, how do you feel about the guns coming out for him in recent days? I think he's been everywhere. He was at day one of the NBA draft. And every day I see a new hit piece on Stephen A. Smith telling people how they are tired of him and his coverage of the NBA. They think it's a bad look for the league. They're tired of him making everything about himself. They're tired of him screaming every 2 minutes. How do you feel about that, man? Do you feel like Stephen A. Smith's number might be up? Do you think they might start eventually peeling him back from being on everything NBA related?
I don't think so, to be honest, man. And to be honest with you, I don't really have a big problem with him being on this type of stuff because I feel like the ESPN coverage is kind of rough anyway. Because I was watching the draft, I didn't realize it was two different broadcasts going on. It was the ESPN broadcast, and then they had the ABC broadcast. And the ESPN broadcast had Malika Andrews, Kendrick Perkins, and I think they had Jay Billis on there too, and then some other chick who break down the NBA and WNBA stuff. But I was listening to that. I'm like, man, this ain't entertaining at all. I'm like, I remember back in the day used to be used to have like Mike Greenberg. You had Stephen A. Smith. You have the top notch guys there. And I'm just like, man, this ain't entertaining at all, man. Like, I don't want to hear, like, it's too much Kendrick Perkins for me, man. And then some told me to just go to ABC. And I'm like, oh, this is another broadcast, which was it was the guy that used to be the GM for the Warriors. I forgot his name. And then it was Stephen A. Smith. It was like three.
Mark Jackson, but no, he was coach. Never mind, not him.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Mark Jackson, but it was a GM. He was the GM during their dynasty, pretty much. White dude, but I enjoyed that one more because, like, say what you want, Steve. To me, I still find Stephen A. a bit entertaining to me. Like, I would deal with that before I deal with Kendrick Perkins or anybody like that. And it's funny, I think we talked about that on In the Loop a couple days ago. We did a little court game, and I had to defend because the question was, will the NBA be better off without Stephen A. Smith? And I pretty much defended that. I'm like, I don't think so, because it seemed like Stephen A. Smith is the one that's driving the headlines pretty much. It seemed like everything, like all the stuff that's heavy on ESPN, Stephen A. Smith was in it. Like, no matter how you feel, if it's good or bad, the LeBron back and forth, Stephen A. was right there for it. I don't know if that would happen. I don't know if they get that much headlines if they decide to just kick Stephen A. off the NBA stuff, man, because I feel like people like us are messy. We like drama and stuff like that. I don't think everybody gonna be super happy to just get basic, regular play-by-play coverage, or let's talk X's and O's and stuff like that. I think they need something like a Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if there's anybody else out there that's like a Stephen A. Smith that can create the NBA headlines and stuff like that.
Man, no, there really isn't. And like you said, the NBA coverage in general on ESPN is really dry. I think putting Doris Burke there was a mistake. I respect her. I think she knows a lot about the game. I think she is very boring to listen to. And it's like nails on a chalkboard when I hear her voice, man. All her jokes are stupid. And they had a great tandem, a great trio with Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson, Mama, there goes that man, and Jeff Green, and they broke that up for no reason and put Doris Burke on.
It was a reason they broke that up, man. Adam Silver didn't like them criticizing the NBA like that.
That was just Jeff Van Gundy, though. He was the only one who was going super hard on the league. But I never felt like he said anything that was out of line.
He did.
Especially compared to inside the NBA.
Yeah.
Which he seems to have no problem with.
Yeah.
And they shit on the game way worse than Jeff Van Gundy did.
Yep.
So I don't understand that mentality.
I think what it was ESPN kind of being scared a little bit. I don't know if they got a call from the NBA or something like that. So they probably got a little scared and just let go of Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson and try to put somebody else there to make the NBA happy. Meanwhile, TNT, I don't think they gave a shit, man. Because look, it's Shaq, it's Kenny, it's a legendary show. Let them do whatever they want, and I don't think the NBA could control that.
Yeah, but still, if they knew there was a whole TV battle going on, I feel like if Adam Silver really felt a certain type of way, they could get the content on Inside the NBA changed. Now you can't fire Charles Barkley. You can't. I mean, people wouldn't watch the show without him. But I don't know. I feel like there would be something. We would see major changes in how they cover the league, and they really didn't change anything. It did seem like for a while they kind of peeled back on criticizing the league, but then they kind of went right back when it was apparent that TNT was going to lose the rights. So yeah, but I don't know, man. They broke up a great trio in commentating and then put a terrible one there. If you take Stephen A. Smith off the coverage, what do you have entertaining about NBA coverage on ESPN? People can say what they want about, we want to hear Tim Legler. We want to hear the X's and O's of basketball. No, y'all don't, man. All right.
Yeah, I so agree with that too, man. Because that's the first thing people say. We need more Tim Legler I'm like, people don't care about that, man. Like we would have cared back in the 2000s, but now we in a very clickbaity era where the loudest the squeakiest will get the noise. Like they need somebody like a Stephen A. Smith. That's why Kendrick Perkins is on all the damn time. I don't think he's that good at what he do, but he's always loud. He always has some type of little quirky. He always got something going on where you got to listen to Kendrick Perkins. I don't think he's that good, but like, no, don't nobody want to hear the X's and O's on ESPN like that no more, man.
You cannot cover the NBA like you do the NFL. I think they are very different leagues and the play style is so different. Look, we need somebody to break down NFL stuff or else we wouldn't know what's going on. Yeah. There's stuff happening on the field that we can't see when we're watching TV. So we need somebody to break down the X's and O's of football so we can understand exactly what happened. Basketball, we can see everybody in the court at the same time. Yeah, we know what's going on. Okay, we see somebody hang in the corner for a three, which is 90% of the plays these days, and we know what's going on. We want to know the drama. We want to hear the narratives. We got narratives to push online. People care about that type of thing with the NBA, and you have to have somebody who really is into that part of the game. And Stephen A. Smith is that, man. He gives the people what they claim they don't want, but for some reason, of all the draft coverage I've seen, it's been a lot of Stephen A. Smith leading the headlines, man. You see a lot of the headlines in the NBA this past year have been people taking shots at Stephen A. Smith. And I feel like the best thing to do if you really hated him was to ignore him. But they want the clicks too. Awful announcing wants the clicks of the Stephen A. Smith hate. Yeah. So they double down on hating him. Yeah. But he's jobbing the headlines, man. So who can you blame but the people who watch? Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, if he was to leave, like, I don't know if the NBA coverage would be the same, man. I'm sure you had some people that's interested in what Monica Minute got to say, or some people, Kendrick Perkins, but Stephen A. is right now. They can't lose Stephen A. on NBA coverage. Now, NFL coverage, I don't think he's needed for that. No, because I feel like you have a lot of entertaining people on the NFL side. Like, you have a lot of entertaining people on that side. And you got the people that do the X's and O's and stuff too. So I think with Stephen A., he's not an X's and O's guy when it comes to the NFL. So that's where he'll get kind of exposed a little bit. But nah, man, NBA, there's a reason why Kenny Smith only do that run to the board thing twice. Only one time in the first half or at halftime. Like, they do that, and that's pretty much it, man. The rest of it, they just kind of doing a show, just a kind of a entertaining sports show. Yeah, and people were crying when they thought that the show was going to end too. When they thought, oh, TNT lost the rights, this is going to be the last year of Inside the NBA. People were crying, people were emotional. People said, no, please don't let them lose the rights. This is the best sports show on TV. And now they're like, okay, we're going to keep it going on ESPN. Oh, Shaq is terrible. You hear Shaq saying he don't watch games. Charles Barkley shitting on the league again. Now we're back to square one, huh? Y'all was saying y'all was going to miss this show, and now since it's back, y'all back to shitting on it and think it's bad for the league. Yeah. If it's bad for the league, then something better has to come out. Yeah. And until that happens, people are going to stick with the Charles Barkley and Shaq. People are going to stick with Stephen A. Smith, and they're going to stick with what works and what's driving ratings. Yep. So that's crazy. That's my Stephen A. Smith rant for the day, man. Yeah, I can't blame you for defending him. People will shit on you for defending him. Yeah, but you can't argue numbers, man. And he's bringing the coverage and he's bringing the numbers. Dude, there's a reason why they paid him all that money, man. Exactly. Because they don't have a problem letting people go. There's a reason why they keeping him on and they have him on everything. They giving him whatever he wants, pretty much. So, like, I'm not sitting there saying he be having the best takes ever and all that shit. But nah, I don't know. Like, think about it. Who else on ESPN could carry ESPN like that? I don't think it's anybody else. Maybe some NFL people. I'm not sure, but
Like Stephen A's, he could carry ESPN. Just his brand, his image, his personality. I don't know anybody else that you give all that money to carry ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, they, like you said, they paid him that money for a reason, man. They don't pay nobody else really, except maybe a Pat McAfee, that type of money. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why they put him front and center of everything. They're trying to get their money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I understand, man. I love him or hate him until something better comes out. People have to prove that they want different NBA coverage. That's the thing. Because the highest rated shows are the gossipy bullshit shows.
Yeah.
So until y'all prove that, hey, we want a Tim Legler, hey, we want a Mina Kimes butt basketball, we want somebody only X's and O's type coverage of basketball. Until you prove that, then inside the NBA and Stephen A. Smith gonna keep reigning supreme.
Yeah, and it's a reason why, because I think we was talking about this recently too, how Iman Shumpert, he's doing a lot more ESPN stuff. Probably that divorce probably hit him pretty good.
Yeah.
So now he got to work a little more now. But I felt like his coverage of it, like breaking down the game, I feel like it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think people want that right now. People just want some I don't want to call them like puppets or anything, but people want some entertaining people right there, man. And I think that's pretty much what it is. Even look at somebody like, and he ain't with ESPN anymore, but look at somebody like a Michael Irvin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he could break down a lot of games and film and all that stuff. But what was the last thing he broke down? Where you? No, he's just entertaining, man. It's Michael Irvin. He get the yelling and arguing and all that stuff. He's sitting there sweating like he just snorted some cocaine and all that shit. Like, no, that's entertaining, man. Like, that's all you gotta do is just put somebody like that with a couple other NFL players, and you got a show, man. I don't know if you got anybody like that. Like, people, like, as much as I like a little X's and O's once in a while and stuff like that, but leave that for a podcast or leave that for a little segment where you are breaking down the game. You want to bring somebody in to break down the game, but that ain't gonna carry the station.
Yeah, and what's with some of these players that they're bringing in now? Is it Marcus or Markieff Morris or both of them?
Both of
them. Why are they giving NBA coverage now, man?
I feel like that's their show on ESPN more than Stephen A. They on there every day.
They are not. They are very, very boring to listen to, man.
Yeah,
they're entertaining. They talk slow.
Yeah, I ain't want to criticize them because I only see them on whenever I'm working. And so I never get to hear them, but every time I look up at the TV in the studio, I'm like, damn, they on every day. But I never really heard them, their takes or anything. But I'm like, man, is anybody out here trying to listen to the Morris twins?
Yeah, there's got to be better ex-players. The problem is everybody got a podcast now. You know, I think somebody like a Gilbert Arenas would be good to have breaking down NBA on ESPN because he's somebody who can be serious when he wants to be, but he has a podcast where he can just act a fool and have no consequences, and that's what he does now.
Yeah.
So a lot of these ex-players actually just started a podcast and probably make more money from that. So now it's slim pickings trying to get a ex-NBA player who's entertaining and don't already have a podcast and not already busy and can actually cover the NBA on ESPN.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, man. Because before all the podcast stuff, you will have people try to come in, even like a Carmelo and somebody like that want to jump in and just kind of talk basketball and stuff like that. It was easier to get that type of stuff. Now you got DraftKings, you got all these different outlets that's just giving them a bag to do a podcast. And that's probably more than what they would have got on ESPN, because I don't think there's no spots for people to just come in and get a bunch of money. They probably just working their way up a little bit, kind of like a Iman Shumpert or the Morris twins and people like that. So it's crazy. I think, like I said, with Stephen A, I don't think they can afford to lose him on the NBA coverage, man, because I don't know who else you go to.
Yeah, slim pickings, man. And people want to say what you want about Charles Barkley and inside the NBA and Stephen A. Smith, but when they're gone, y'all gonna miss them. Y'all gonna be like, man, they don't hit the same no more. So I don't know. We'll see. Other NBA news, man. The draft did happen this past week. Of course, Cooper Flagg went number 1 overall to the Dallas Mavericks in the most rigged draft lottery in history. But Cooper Flagg went to Dallas as we all expected. And then everything else happened. I didn't really keep track of anything else. I did see that guy who don't want to go to Utah, which is funny, Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
Who was very upset. I saw another dude who was pissed he had to go to Toronto.
Yeah. He got up shaking his head, said,
yeah, fuck. Yeah, man. I will say people are highlighting those 2 clips and acting like nobody was happy to get drafted and these kids are all entitled. But for the most part, from what I saw, people were very excited and happy to go to the NBA. It was just those 2 cases, man.
Yeah.
People who clearly did not want to go to certain teams.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about that, man? I guess we'll start with that since there's really nothing else to talk about with the drafts. I saw the Rockets took somebody, but they didn't even have a picture or a highlight package of him when he was picked. So I don't know who the fuck it is.
You probably ain't gonna see him no time soon either.
He going right to G League Ignite.
Yeah, or
he goes to fucking the G League. That's right.
Yeah.
But so what are your thoughts on the so-called entitled players being upset of being drafted in certain cities, and especially this one kid who reportedly might be holding out for Utah?
Yeah, I think that's kind of crazy to me. If he's doing all that, because this is the same guy that was I want to say he ghosted a couple teams on interviews and stuff like that. The funny thing is he didn't want to go to Philly. He didn't want to go to Utah. But this motherfucker wanted to go to Washington to play for the Wizards. It's like, what the like to play for the Wizards? Like I don't know. I didn't understand that, but I felt like he was totally off with that type of stuff, man. And I was talking to Reggie about that the other day, and he kind of asked the question: did he go about it wrong or right? And I'm like, that's dead ass wrong, because when you do these interviews and workouts with these teams privately, that's pretty much, I look at that as like building relationships. So you talking to them, you kind of getting to know them and all that stuff, because wherever you go, if your contract is up, it's a possibility you could go to that team, or it's stuff like that where you got to build that relationship. And I kind of realized that it's like that in the NFL too, because when you hear Nick Caserio, the Texas GM, when he talk about players he worked out and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, I remember working Brandon Cooks out in New England, or when he was a rookie, or before he got drafted, and then he went to the Saints, and then we got him in New England. He started doing all that. It's just like, man, he built that relationship from before he was even drafted. So I think it's kind of silly that dude did that, man. Like I just don't get the purpose of that. It wasn't like you was the first overall pick where you knew you was just going to one play. Like I think Wemby was the I don't think he worked out with a lot of teams at all. It was just kind of one team, maybe talk to another team or something like that. But he knew he was going to one place, and they wasn't about to trade. Nobody else about to trade for him. So I understand that part. But dog, you could have been the third overall pick, the second and third overall pick, and they passed on you because of that. So I don't understand that point of view, man. You better be damn good to be doing that type of stuff.
Yeah, the fact that he wanted to go to the Wizards and not Utah, where in Utah it would be much better as a player like him to make a mark and start immediately. It kind of proves he just wanted to turn up. He just wanted a city that was fun. And like, I get it. Nobody wants to voluntarily go to Utah. But the fact is, no matter where you are, if you're rich, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
There are fine women in every city and state. All right. Especially the major ones where the NBA teams are located. You will be okay. There's OnlyFans nationwide. You can fly anybody out you want. All right. So I don't see the point of him acting kind of like a brat over this whole thing. And I think it's really just with NBA players I've been seeing this attitude. I think Dennis Schroeder earlier this season said something like the NBA trade deadline is like slavery because you don't get to pick where you go. They just send you somewhere and you just have to go. It's like, nah, cry me a fucking river. Y'all making millions of dollars. If you ask the average person struggling to make rent, if they want to get $10 million to live in Salt Lake City, they will take it without even thinking about it. All right, they'll leave their family.
Man, you know how we moved to Houston? We moved here because the job she was taking was offering more money. So like, it wasn't like we know anything about Houston. I know Houston was this good like this, but dog, it was either DC, I think Arizona, somewhere in Arizona, and Houston. And DC was offering the lease. So it's like, nah, like we won't be able to, we can't afford to stay there. But Houston was offering like a lot. So we like, hell, let's go. We don't know what's in Houston, but we down for it, man. We down to take that chance. And it was 2016. So you had all the election stuff going on. Shoot, we was down for it. It was a good move, but nah, man. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. I don't understand this complaining and arguing about not wanting to be in certain cities. And I can understand if the front office is really bad and maybe you talk to somebody and get a bad vibe. But in general, it just seems like they don't want to live in these places. Yeah, and I think that's very childish. I understand they are very young, but in general, your wife is here, Christina. She says it was Baltimore, Arizona, or Houston.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Baltimore. I said DC.
Yeah, Baltimore, Arizona, or Houston. Yeah, I would pick Houston too. Baltimore, I don't know. And Arizona is super hot, man. Even higher than Houston. So
yeah, Arizona seemed far as hell too, especially from Cleveland.
Yeah,
that seemed like that's way at the bottom of the map, all the way west, pretty much.
Yeah, I would pick. I think Houston. I mean, to be fair, Houston in general is the best option of those cities. I think,
no question.
But, yeah, if one of the other ones paid more, I would understand if you went to Baltimore or Arizona too. But,
yeah, and plus Baltimore is a little closer too. So
yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't get the wanting, man. I can't this whole comparing it to slavery and say the players should be able to choose where they go. Fuck that, man. Let's not start with this using previous black pain of the ancestors to justify this bullshit that these rich people got to go through. All right. You have a choice. You can not play basketball. All right. Go get a job.
Or you know what? Just get a 1-year deal, man.
Yes.
Get a 1-year deal, then you could do whatever you want, man. You ain't tied down to nobody.
Exactly. If you want a job where you get to choose wherever you work and live, do something other than sports. All right. Go be a trainer, go do something else. But if you want to be a professional athlete, you got to deal with this minor inconvenience in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have no pity for it. I do want to see what happens with him, though. I am interested if he actually holds out, because he don't seem like the type of player that's good enough to hold out on a team. This is not like Kobe Bryant in '96, man, or even Eli Manning. This guy, I don't think he's even that good. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Other news. So the Diddy trial is coming to an end. I don't know if like people really notice because it seems like a lot of the media coverage has died down. And I didn't listen to the closing arguments or see the transcript, but I just want to revisit this for a while, man, because I feel like we were sold something that didn't come true with this trial. I thought that we were going to hear a lot of stuff that was going to make us view Diddy as the worst person to have ever lived. And in general, we found out that he likes to pay men to have sex with his wife.
Yeah.
And he blew up Kid Cudi's car, which we already knew that.
Yeah. And I think they kind of threw that part out of it too. Because they threw a few things out. Like I think I don't know if they took the prostitution charge. They took off the prostitution charge. They took off something else too. But I guess they couldn't prove that he actually did it. Or
I think the trafficking is still there. I think the gun charge, because he has possession of guns with the serial numbers etched out, which is a federal crime. Yeah. He's probably gonna have to eat that. But other than that, I'm a little disappointed in the fact that people sold this as the Black Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. And it was just a freaky nigga in Hollywood at the end of the day. Like, yes, he did abuse Cassie. We did see the video, but I also heard Cassie threaten to kill somebody. Okay, did you hear that audio?
Yeah, I did.
Cassie was on tape threatening to have somebody killed because I think they had video of a freak off. Yeah, and I don't know if he was threatening to give it to somebody or what, but she said she was going to have this man killed, and she was dead serious about it.
Yeah, because they did talk about it. And I think they read the transcripts in court at first, and then the video the recording was actually released, and it was definitely her talking about some. I'm pretty much kill you if this happened.
Yeah. So look, I'm not saying she deserved to get beat, but I also don't think this is John Benet Ramsey or some shit. I don't think this is an innocent child who had nothing who was just taken advantage of at this point. I think it was two shitty people doing shitty things in general.
Yeah. To me, I think my takeaway from this, I do feel like she's a victim. Like, look at the video, man. I don't think she asked for that part. But I think that part make you a victim alone by itself. But I came away from this that she was definitely was down for the freak offs. She was definitely involved in all that stuff, the lifestyle and all that. I think I heard some comments. I guess they mentioned how somebody mentioned why she won't leave. And then her comments was Jay-Z is still in a relationship or Jay-Z is married or something like that. Pretty much saying she ain't about to leave him unless Jay-Z is single. Like little comments like that where I'm like, okay, she kind of down with it, but of course she ain't deserve the other stuff that was going on, like the stuff that happened in that video. But to me, my takeaway was it was some underworld type celebrity freak off type stuff she was involved with, and maybe they got tired of each other. Maybe it went a little too far, and and this is how it ended.
Or maybe she felt the heat coming on and said, "Fuck it, I'm dipping."
Yeah, it could have been a thing where she knew the feds was coming down.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably came to her and said, "Hey, help us take him down." And I think she got immunity. Testify, and you won't be involved in all of this stuff. Maybe something like that. But it seemed like a lot of people was involved, and I'm kind of curious what's going to happen with him, though. Like, it seems like he's not going to be going. I don't know if he's going to be just kind of throw away the key type deal. Maybe he will spend the rest of his life in jail. I don't know, but because he's a little older. But I wonder how long he's actually going to get.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Dragon Spitfire on Twitter says, I haven't heard any witnesses testify related to the charges. I've heard testimony, but I don't know how effective it was. I remember, who was that guy, the Punisher, whoever one of the escorts came through.
Yeah.
But I don't know how effective it was. He also says any so-called conviction he gets should be subject to time served. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like a Young Thug type situation where it's some years, but time served is going to be equated into it, plus 20 years probation or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And so no more Ciroc. But I think it's probably gonna be something like that. I think I don't know if he'll escape, but I think the punishment will be light.
Yeah.
And ultimately, man, I just don't see paying people to fly out to New York to have sex as a serious crime worthy of federal imprisonment.
Yeah.
Okay, people were talking like there were minors involved. You know, people were acting like they were kids. Like this was Jeffrey Epstein Part 2.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear any of those claims in court.
Yeah.
It never got that deep.
Yeah. And do you think it's a little bit surprising and interesting that the defense didn't call any witnesses?
I
Yeah,
guess
because they had the chance to call some witnesses, but they didn't. So that's why it's closing time now.
I guess nobody would cooperate. I guess it would be hard to find somebody who, basically, they have to risk their career to come out and defend Diddy, seeing what his reputation is now. So I get it, but it is a little surprising that nobody came through.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to Farnsworth Bentley? He couldn't come through for the defense. Where's he been?
I was just about to say, where's he at? Period. I bet
he took an umbrella and just flew away. Magical Negro. He done tugged on his suspenders and clicked his heels and flew back to wherever the fuck he came from, man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm very interested to see how much time he gonna get, man. Because I don't like I said, I felt like it to me it just seemed like it was he was into a lot of freak offs, and it seemed like people were down for it. Even 50 Cent's baby mother. Mm-hmm. She was called on the stand, and it seemed like she was really into it. she was like really to it. It kind of explains why 50 Cent can't stand Diddy so much, man. Because Diddy had her out here looking like a prostitute, man, or an escort. So, I'm kind of curious what's going to happen after how much time he actually going to get. Because, like I said, it seemed like it was a lot of people just having fun, and he probably paying them to come out to get fluid out and all that stuff. Which is by law, if you're doing it to have sex with somebody, by law, it's prostitution or trafficking. Mm-hmm. I don't know, because when I think of trafficking, I think about little kids in the back of a truck or something, tied up.
Or women from Romania, some Russian country, don't speak English. I'm forced to have sex.
I'm thinking about the movie Taken when I think trafficking. But trafficking could be easily just saying, get on this plane and
come through for the weekend
for this amount of money.
Yeah, which should be capitalism, man. All right, we're paying for a service. I thought this was America. I thought this was the land of the free and the home of the brave. Yeah, I'm not defending Diddy, man. I think he's kind of a sicko, and I think to be even into this type of shit is weird. But I was told that this was going to be worse than what it ended up being from what we saw in court. Yeah. And from what I heard, it didn't sound like somebody who should be thrown in prison for life. All right. And I'm saying this as somebody, I don't want to hear no more Diddy music in general. I could go my whole life without hearing another Diddy album. Or hearing take that. But I'm just calling it like I see it, man. I didn't hear anything that really was super offensive to the point where I'm like, nah, throw him. I didn't hear no R. Kelly type shit. Or no Bill Cosby type shit, who's also free, by the way, Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear any of that. So just a thought. Also, speaking of 50 Cent, have you seen the cast list for this new Street Fighter movie that's coming out?
I did not see this.
So the movie is going to star, I'm just remember off the top of my head, Roman Reigns is going to play Akuma, which is like the evil Ryu type guy in it. 50 Cent is going to play the Mike Tyson boxer, Balrog, in the movie.
50 playing him?
Yeah. He's playing Balrog. He's like a disgraced fighter who joins the evil M. Bison. And in the original game, Street Fighter 2, he was based off Mike Tyson. They actually had to change his name. His name was M. Bison in the game. And when it came to America, they was like, that's too close. They had to change it around.
Yeah.
They changed it to Balrog.
I remember that.
But 50 Cent is going to be playing the Street Fighter movie. Andrew Schultz has also been cast in the movie as well. And Roman Reigns and some other people I hadn't heard of. But how do you feel about seeing 50 Cent return to acting in the Street Fighter movie, man?
Is he producing the damn movie?
No, I don't think he is.
I mean, I'm not sitting here saying this is a Tyler Perry type of cast.
Yeah.
I mean, Andrew Schultz. That one, I'm just like, like you couldn't find nobody else. But I don't know. I'm really intrigued to see it now because I didn't even know about this movie. But I'm kind of intrigued to see it now, especially in 2025. I wonder how they gonna do this movie. But yeah, this would be unless they keep 50 Cent like a street dude. Maybe he ain't got to do too much acting or something, but I'm intrigued to see 50 Cent in a different type of role like this.
Also, Jason Momoa is going to be in the movie too.
Damn.
But apparently 50 Cent is taking the role very seriously. He's saying he's training nonstop, and he says he's going to do his own stunts, which I don't know how that's going to look at 50 years old. But yeah, man.
I kind of believe him on this, man, because remember that movie he did where he lost all that weight?
Yeah. That nobody ever saw or talked about.
Didn't win a BET award for that movie. I believe it because if he took that serious, I could see him taking something like this very serious. So I could see it, man.
Yeah, look, I'm a lifelong Street Fighter fan, man. I grew up playing Street Fighter 2 back in when it first dropped in arcades in 1992.
Yeah.
And I remember even seeing the first Street Fighter in the movie Juice with Tupac. And so it's very near and dear to my heart. And I don't like these castings, man. It makes it look like a fucking VH1 movie or something. It really doesn't feel like a major motion picture when you got 50 Cent starring in it. All right. I don't like the casting. I think it's going to be more of a comedy type, like the first movie was. They made a Street Fighter movie back in 1994, I believe, with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia, which was his last role before he died. And he actually was great. He was the only good thing about the movie. But that movie was terrible if you're a fan of the game because it was nothing like the game. There was really not even any fighting in the movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so this movie, it feels like you're hiring a bunch of people who can't fight and people who don't even look like they can fight. So it feels like it's going to be more of a comedic type of movie with a bunch of jokes and shit. And I don't think it's going to be anything serious or anything people are going to take seriously. 50 Cent, I think, can be a good actor if you put him in the right type of role. But I don't think this is a type of role for him.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'll try to keep an open mind, but I'm not looking forward to it, man. As a gamer and somebody who loves Street Fighter, I think it's going to be terrible. But we'll see.
I think I think he will take the role serious, though, man. I don't think, to me, you could say he was half-assing on Power at one point, but I could see him really getting into his bag in this role, trying to make an impression a little bit, especially if he's going to go through the training and all that stuff. I can see him at least taking this role serious. I don't know how the movie gonna be though. Like that don't mean anything. So, one person could take the role very serious and do a good job, and it could still be an ass movie.
Mhm.
I don't know how the movie gonna be, but I could see maybe if you do see this movie, come away and say, hey, 50 Cent did a good job. He wasn't bad in that movie. I mean, I don't know what Andrew Schultz gonna do, man.
To be fair, he is a comedic character. He's like there's like a parody of Ryu type character in the game. A guy who's like he's a fighter, but his moves don't work. He got a fireball, but it only goes a couple centimeters before it disappears and shit. So he's gonna be like the comedic relief, obviously, in the movie. But I still feel like having him in the movie is just weird. Period. Like, what's he gonna talk about? Woke culture.
Yeah, they gonna put Charlemagne in there next.
Yeah. So I don't know about that, but we'll see. I'm just not looking forward to it based on who I see being cast in it. But speaking of games, though, man, we got some other games to announce. You know, we're both kind of gamer heads here. Resident Evil, a new Resident Evil game was shown, and also you put me onto this Wu-Tang game.
Yeah. So I was so they had their little convention where they announced all the new games and stuff like that. That was the same night I ended up tagging you in that Resident Evil trailer.
Yeah.
A bunch of that stuff dropped. So I'm like, you know what? Let me check this whole thing out on YouTube and see all the new games that drop. And I seen a Resident Evil. I mean, not a Resident Evil, but it was an actual Wu-Tang like video game. And I'm like, what? Like, is this real? It looked kind of cool at first. The trailer. I'm gonna see if I could pull it up, but it looked kind of cool when they were showing the trailer. But the actual gameplay, I'm just like, this kind of look a little old. Like, it don't look clean. It don't look like it's like a Last of Us or something like. They don't look realistic to me. It kind of look maybe PS3-ish, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of thinking, like, what made them right now decide to come up with a game? I didn't really I didn't really get it.
Yeah, I mean, at the height of Wu-Tang fever, there was a PlayStation fighting game based off of Wu-Tang. It also had they also released like a controller, a Wu-Tang controller for PlayStation, which looked crazy. It was just like the Wu-Tang logo, which with the buttons on it. It looked like it was impossible to hold. But yeah, I'm surprised right now, at their big age, they're gonna make a Wu-Tang game. It might be some kind of like indie type thing. Like, you know, a lot of indie studios or indie game makers make games now. And it might be that type of thing, but I gotta see. Rise of the Deceiver, Wu-Tang. Okay.
Yeah, I ain't gonna play the audio. Hopefully they won't.
Yeah, hope not. I mean, it's Wu-Tang, man. Come on, okay. Inspector Deck, Method Man, ODB, Raekwon the Chef, You God, Ghostface Killer, and MATHOD.
Man.
Okay, very comic book style, obviously Chinese martial arts inspired.
Yeah. They might do a good job in that market.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's all they
Presented by Ghostface Killer. It looks a little like there's a what's it called? Bomb Rush Cyberpunk or some shit like that. There was a graffiti type or some kind of beat 'em up game that looks like that. It looks very cartoony. But it doesn't look that bad. I mean, there's not enough gameplay for me to actually see what it looks like to be there. But from what I saw from that little clip, it could be good. It could be good.
Okay.
I will hold out hope.
Okay. So if it dropped, would you buy it or do you need to see a little more?
I need to see more. I got to see more. And it would depend on how much it costs. I'm not going to pay no $70 for a Wu-Tang game. If it's like $29.99, I could drop that.
No way in hell that shit is $29.99.
I mean, if it look, if it looks like it does, like you said, PS3 type graphics, I'm not gonna drop no $69 for it.
Yeah.
Now Resident Evil, this game, I'm gonna drop 70 probably.
I might hit the pre-order for this one.
Yeah. Resident Evil is usually a good game, man. There's not been very many bad Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
This does look good.
Yeah. I was actually shocked that they went back to the Raccoon City.
Yep.
So it looked like they in that old mansion too.
Yeah, it looks good, man. The graphics look tight. I'm using tight again, I know. It looks good, man. Look at these lifelike graphics. Look at that.
Yeah.
See this lady who you don't know what the fuck she's doing. They actually dropped some new footage because Capcom had a show, I want to say yesterday or the day before, and they dropped some new gameplay footage of the game, and it looks really good, man. It looks like first person, but you can switch to third person too behind the shoulder.
Oh yeah,
and it looks good. So I'm looking forward to it, man. The Wu-Tang game, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been burned too many times on these licensed rapper games. Remember 50 Cent had like 2 games that came out.
Yeah. I remember the 50 Cent game. Remember the fighting game, the other one? The Def Jam Vendetta.
Yeah, that was actually good though.
That was a good game, yeah.
That was actually probably the best game that had rappers in it. Def Jam Fight for New York is probably the best game that had rappers in it.
Yeah.
Anything else was kind of mid.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a good game.
So, yeah, they actually, I heard they were looking into making that again or remaking it. I don't know how you're going to do it with all these labels and all these deals. And,
and all these rappers want their hand in everything.
Because Joe Budden mentioned, because he's in the game, and he mentioned that he didn't get anything from being in the game.
Yeah.
So I think at that time, a lot of them didn't even know about the game. But now, since gaming is way bigger, everybody in the game is going to know about the game.
Yep.
So they're going to want to cut. They're going to want a piece of the pie.
Yeah. So, and I think everybody is smarter now, too.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were in the game, they're gonna put a stop to it, or they're gonna do something where I think it probably costs way more money than the game would be.
Yeah,
just trying to pay everybody,
and then they gonna want to be super strong in the game too. And like y'all gotta understand how these fighting games work. You can't have everybody be super good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be. It will be wild. I don't know if it's actually gonna happen, but I want to see it again because Def Jam Fight for New York is actually a really good game. So, but I don't think they're gonna make another one. We'll see.
Yeah, unless it do some numbers like some like that new college football game or something like that, where they could just pay everybody, give everybody a little piece of something out. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. But the Wu-Tang game, I don't know. I got to see more before I decide if I'm going to play it. I might just play it for the podcast. Who knows? We could do. I hope it's co-op. We can actually play it together.
Yeah,
we can maybe stream it.
We need to do a game night or something, man. Just
I'm down with it.
Stream and play some video games or something.
I actually, yeah, I'm down with it, man. I stream on Twitch. I'm at Houston_Rockett. I stream random games on Twitch. I'm trying to do a few more. But I'm down for it, man. If you ever want to link up,
I'm about to say do it on the podcast page.
I got to get access to it.
Oh, you ain't got access to the stream?
I'm sure you probably gave it to me, but I lost the password. But yeah, I'm down. I might stream Fight for New York. How about that? I might stream the Def Jam game on the Gems and Juice Twitter this weekend.
Yeah.
I'll look into that.
Yeah, hell, connected to the YouTube too. We need
I'll do that.
More views and subscribers and all that shit.
Yeah, I'm down. Throw me the password in the thing, man. I'll go ahead and hook that up if you're cool with it.
I got you.
I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, lists. We have another list, another controversial list to break down. At least this time it don't involve rap.
Yeah.
But this one might be even worse. because it's covering a very legendary genre with
You
a
cover-
lot of big names in it.
You covering artists that started in the 50s
Yeah,
all the way
We're
to
talking about-
2025.
we're talking about Motown legends to Summer Walker. That's what we're covering here in SZA. So Billboard released the top 75 R&B singers of all time. And where do you want to start breaking this down? Do you want to go top 25?
Yeah, I was gonna say let's do top 10, and then just kind of
Okay.
let's kind of scatter around a little bit to see who.
Okay, good idea. Good
Yeah.
idea.
Because I know it's definitely a mistake if you start in that like 75, because I think 75 is like Summer Walker, and it's like what?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I wonder who ain't on the list. I'll be curious to see who ain't on the list. But anyway, we could probably start with see who in the top 10 and go from there.
Let's start at the top 10, man. Number 10, Marvin Gaye. What's your thoughts on that? Too low? Too high?
Right now I feel like it's fine. I feel like it's fine right now. I gotta see more.
Number 9, R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, ooh, that might be a little low, to be honest.
You can't tell me that he's not this low for the allegations, man, and the crime.
100% the allegation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you take that out the equation, he's top 5.
Yeah.
At the lowest.
Yeah, he's in my top 5.
Oh, that's controversial, man. You can't say that.
If I had to do a top 5, like it's hard to say. No, R. Kelly is not a top 5 R&B artist. That sounds crazy, don't it?
It's very annoying arguing this with people, though, man. Because I remember we were talking about this at your get together, and Reggie was basically in the corner of we can't remove the art from the artist and all this stuff, and you cannot listen to R. Kelly no more. And Jack Freeman was the same way, man. Jack Freeman, we talked to him, and he's very anti R. Kelly and acts like his music ain't shit now. And I'm like, sorry, man, I can't do it. All right. I understand he's a scumbag piece of shit. I also can't have ears and not put him and his music up there.
Yeah.
All right. Like, look, at the peak of this game, name me 5 singers that were bigger in R&B than R. Kelly.
Yeah.
It is very difficult, man. So
I agree.
But I'm gonna leave that alone because that's a whole nother topic and a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, at least they got him on the list.
Yeah. At least they didn't put him at like number 30.
Yeah, I was looking at a list. I think it was on Father's Day. It was a list of the best dads, TV dads, and they ain't even had Bill Cosby on it. Like it was like 50, it was like 40 dads. I'm like, that's insane. Like say what you want, but not have Bill Cosby as not a top 40 dad on there. I'm like, man, all right. Like clearly we know what's going on here.
Yeah, that's like having a top 10 or top 20 black sitcoms and not having the Cosby Show up there.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing at this point, man? So, yeah, he's only at number 9 because of the allegations. They also didn't put a picture of him because I guess that's like their protest. But he has no picture on the Billboard site for the ranking. But he is number 9. Number 8, Mariah Carey.
Okay.
I got to see more. It might be too low.
Yeah.
Number 7, Prince.
That's a little too low.
See, this is my problem with where list is going now. Because is Prince an R&B artist?
See, that's the other thing. Yeah, I'm not sure. And I heard a podcast talking about this list too, man, where they were kind of I don't want to say shitting on, but they were kind of wondering because they James Brown is number 6, by the way. But they brought up James Brown. It's like, oh, I don't know if it's R&B. I'm like, man, that was back in the 60s, man. That was R&B in the 60s. Like they wasn't around in the 60s not calling that rhythm and blues. Like R&B changed a lot. Just like hip hop changed a lot. R&B changed a lot from then. Back then, that was R&B. So I'm not sure. I wasn't around then when Prince was alive. So I'm not sure back then if they were calling that R&B or was it just pop and rock.
Personally, and this is no slight to Prince at all, I think he's one of the, if not the best to ever do it. Definitely one of the best musician in my eyes overall. I think his music is too experimental to be R&B. I think he did a lot of rock. I think he did a lot of fusing jazz, a lot of fusing genres for him to be labeled an R&B artist. And I think it's too experimental. Like, what is his classic R&B album? What are his classic R&B songs? He has R&B songs. He has love songs. He has slow ballads. He also has straight up rock songs. He straight up has pop songs. You would put him up there in the 80s at least. Madonna, Prince, Michael Jackson. The 3 biggest pop stars of the 80s. Not the biggest R&B stars. The biggest pop stars of the 80s. Madonna, Prince, Michael Jackson. And yeah, it's funk inspired too. Dragon Spitfire says pop funk. That's kind of more what Prince feels like. He don't feel like R&B to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and see, and that's the other thing. The funk part was a little tricky too, because I feel like people was like, "Oh, that ain't R&B. That's more funk." And it's like, man, that was kind of what R&B was. That's like saying, oh no, Gucci Man, they ain't rap. That was more trap. I mean, so like it's still rap. Maybe it's not the rap that was in the 80s or the 90s, but that's still in the genre of rap music. But like I said, I agree with you. I feel like Prince was that one of those guys that you don't even know what to categorize his music as, and that's kind of what Sly and the Family Stone went through too. And this was in the late 60s. They ain't know what it was. So it seemed like it was a little bit of rock. And then it was some type of psychedelics, funk type of thing where they never even heard of that. I don't even know if it had a name during that time, but they had no idea what that was. So I think that's what Prince was.
It's like George Clinton and Funkadelic. Would you call that R&B? Yeah. That's a stretch, man. So I don't know if I would put Prince as R&B, but I respect them putting him on the list regardless. I get what they were doing.
Yeah.
Number 6, James Brown. Any thoughts on that? Too low?
Yeah.
Should he be R&B?
Yeah, see, that's the $1 million. I would say this: making a rap list is way easier than doing the R&B list, because R&B done changed so much, man. Because R&B was rhythm and blues, and I don't know what it was. I felt like it was safe to call James Brown R&B back in the day. I felt like that was R&B. So I feel like they just kind of made it kind of how trap music began, where they just start doing some other stuff that we pretty much created their own genre, which is funk. And so that's what kind of stirred away from the whole R&B thing. But I will put him in the R&B category. I feel like that's part of the genre. But to answer your question, I do feel like I think he was 6th.
Yeah, he was 6.
That might have been. I would say that might be a little too high for him, to be honest.
Okay.
Like I would like to look at the other people that's not in the top 10 to kind of see. But you really don't hear. You hear him. He's the godfather of soul and all that. But you don't really hear a lot of people outside of people like maybe around that time, or like Michael Jackson, that put him that high like that.
I think a lot of his rating deals with what he inspired. Because would we have a Michael Jackson without James Brown? Would we have a Prince without James Brown? Would we have some of the biggest black singers of the past couple of decades without a James Brown influence?
Have you? Whenever it's crazy. Whenever I listen to Michael Jackson, he sounds just like James. Like he was damn near imitating James Brown early on. Just 100% and everything, and when you listen to his stuff now, especially his stuff probably in the early 80s or mid 80s, you can still hear that James Brown influence, man. You definitely heard it as a kid. The "Come on, girl," like that was straight up out the James Brown book. Yeah, and still, even when he got older, you could still hear that influence. So no, it definitely wouldn't be a Michael Jackson or at least a Jackson's 5 without James Brown.
Exactly. So I feel like that has to do with a lot of the ranking him that high. Just the fact that he was so influential, and there would be so many, like a lot of this list would not exist without James Brown. So I get it. Number 5, Whitney Houston.
I feel like that's kind of another tricky one too, because I don't know if it's just you know how somebody drop a song and then eventually it become a pop song. I feel like all of her early music, it felt like pop songs to me. Like that, I Want to Dance with Somebody. I know that's I don't think that was intended to be like this big old pop song, but it felt like it's just a white people pop type of song. So I don't want to put her in the closet like that ain't R&B, that's pop music. But I think I would say this, as voice wise, she's definitely, I would say, top 5 when it comes to like R&B voices. But I'm not sure if they just took all music records and sound and all that stuff, but voice wise, I do feel like she had like a very like crazy voice, man.
Yeah, and here's the issue that was with the list right now. The list is best R&B singers of all time. And if it's just on the strength of vocals, then yeah, she's definitely top 5. But also there's people who should be higher than people who are higher than Whitney Houston based off of vocal talent alone. Now, are you adding in discography? Because I always felt people did the Mariah Carey versus Whitney Houston. I've always said Whitney Houston got the better voice. Mariah Carey got the better catalog of albums. Mariah Carey has classic songs and albums. Whitney Houston, we have a couple we play at a cookout, maybe. Maybe it's not right, but it's okay, something like that. Some of the stuff that came on later on, but ain't nobody playing the "How Will I Know?" Like nobody's really getting down to that shit.
I want to dance with somebody.
Yeah, a lot of her music, and that's Clive Davis's direction and what he wanted to make her. He wanted to make her more of like a white sounding artist than a soul sounding black artist. But her music did not age that well, especially the stuff from the 80s. If I ever hear that "I Will Always Love You" song, I'm gonna kill somebody. I can't say on YouTube, in Minecraft. I'm so sick of that song, man. I think it's one of the most overrated songs in history. I never liked that song. I always thought it was super cheesy.
So is it her singing it or just the Dolly Parton? Or was it Dolly Parton? I think it was. Did Dolly Parton write that song? Somebody wrote that song.
Did she? Let me see.
Yeah. I think it was Dolly Parton, right? Or it was somebody.
I wouldn't be surprised if she did.
It wasn't her original song. I think she kind of I think she pretty much redid it.
Yeah. It was originally by Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
And she sang it.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with it vocally. but I just think this song is super corny.
Yeah.
I just don't like it, man. I think it's super overplayed too.
The worst thing is when she passed away. Every news outlet, every time they saw her, and this is like, oh God, I'm tired of this song.
And if you were alive in the early 90s, man, this song was unescapable. It was everywhere. This song and the Celine Dion Titanic song were the two most inescapable songs that I hated. I just couldn't get past them, man, because everywhere you went, you hear these songs. I just didn't like them.
I will say for those songs, that was just clearly a song that just show off your vocal range.
Yeah.
A lot of people couldn't do that song, man. She was just showing up. That's where you could be like, oh, she could sing. So that and even I ain't gonna break up R. Kelly. I was gonna say I believe I could fly.
Yeah.
That was one of them songs where you just showing off your vocal range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always hated that song. And yeah, so in my argument, I always say that Mariah Carey had the better catalog, but Whitney Houston has a better voice. So I can't be mad at this, her putting her top 5 voice wise, but I feel like if you factor in the hits and the albums, she should be lower.
Yeah.
So, but I can't be mad at putting Whitney at 5. What you might be able to be mad at is who's right above her at number 4, Queen B, Beyonce. Beyonce, number 4, best R&B singer of all time. Agree, disagree?
Honestly, just, and maybe I'm just living in the moment, but seeing like as of late too, how her career has been going, and it seemed like everything is kind of going like she's building that still building that hype after being around for so long. I think that's kind of fair. Like I wouldn't put her number 1, of course, but I think that's kind of fair. I think it's fair. But I mean, as far as like the music part, I'm not really a fan. I was never really a Destiny Child fan or Beyonce fan where I could be like, oh, this song and that song. I know she got hits and stuff, but it never really connected with me. But if you kind of look at all of her records and all of her albums, I don't know if you want to put in the Destiny Child portion of Beyonce, and then right now, just the way she's doing her concerts and all that stuff, performances. I think that sound about right because it seemed like it see the rest of the list is throwing me off too, man.
I'm trying to spoil myself, so I'm sticking with number 4 and seeing Beyonce here and what I feel about it. I don't want to spoil myself.
You don't know who else next?
I saw who's number 1, but I don't know who 2 and 3 is.
Okay. You could go to let's go to number 3 and 2 and then wrap it up.
Okay.
And then give our react.
But at 4, I'm not too mad at Beyonce. At least she's not number 1.
Yeah.
So number 3, Michael Jackson. What are your thoughts on that?
That's kind of the same conversation we had with Prince a little bit.
Yeah.
Is he
to be fair, I feel like Michael Jackson had 2 careers. He had the young Michael, which was R&B, and he had adult Michael, which was pop star.
Yeah.
And I do think he does count more as an R&B artist if you count his Motown stuff and Jackson 5 stuff and earlier stuff.
Yeah.
But most of us know Michael as the Michael Jackson of the Thriller and beyond.
King of pop. He was the king of pop.
So I'm not mad at it, but we'll see who's above him. Let me see. Aretha Franklin, number 2.
And see, this is the part that kind of threw me off a little bit because I just made the case for Beyonce, her longevity, concerts, performances, and just all of this stuff. And like I wonder, like, can you say that? Can you? And I'm not taking away the influence or nothing, but can you say the same thing about Aretha Franklin as far as like concerts and long? Like I know Aretha got the longevity for sure. I think she had a hit in every damn century at this point. But yeah, I'm just wondering at that point, because if Aretha's right there, to me, I feel like that's R&B. I feel like you going off of R&B, you going off of impact, you going off of voice, hits and all that stuff. I don't know if you necessarily going as far as like going after her as far as performances and concerts and stuff like that. I feel like that's real R&B right there. Like especially starting from the 60s and all that stuff, probably earlier than that. But it's just kind of weird having somebody like that and then somebody like a Beyonce or somebody like a I'm trying to think, maybe, or even like a Prince, because I feel like they're a little bit different.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm kind of like, what the hell is this list?
Look, honestly, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I do think they are putting some fan favorites and just putting them here because, you know, it's a list that they want to get clicks. But look, I'm not mad at Aretha bringing number 2. I think it's kind of like the James Brown thing, where she was so influential that there is no Beyonce, no Whitney Houston, no Mariah Carey, none of them without Aretha Franklin. You have to remember, back when Aretha Franklin was around, everyone who came after Aretha Franklin was compared to Aretha Franklin.
Yep.
They called Shaka Khan Baby Aretha. Everybody who came after Aretha Franklin was compared. She was the gold standard in female singing when she came out. And for that alone, I understand putting her number 2. I understand putting her above Whitney and Beyonce and all that. But it does bring up your point of do we define as R&B? How do you have Prince and Aretha Franklin in the same top 10?
Yeah, that's the part that's kind of throwing me off, because if you could say pop stars or something like that, then it's like maybe Aretha might be a little too high, something like that. But if you talk about straight up R&B voice and impact and all that stuff, she definitely is in the right spot.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it, man. I'm not mad. And number 1, which I'm sure, I don't even know if it's controversial, Stevie Wonder is number 1 all time. I actually agree with this. I think he is the greatest R&B artist of all time. I think his music is R&B. Now, look, he did get experimental, and he does have pop songs. He does have more funk-oriented songs. But I think when you think of R&B, he's one of the first, if not the first name that comes to mind is Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
So I actually agree with that. I think he is number 1 all time.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Look at longevity and impact is very important, man. That brother was going in the 60s, man. It's something we never really seen outside of, I think you had Ray Charles, but somebody that was that talented, blind, playing everything, and had a great voice, like an amazing voice, and pretty much kind of like Aretha had a hit in every decade, pretty much. And his songs, like amazing writer. I think he was an amazing writer.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I feel like it might be controversial to some people, especially younger people who don't really know much about Stevie Wonder, because you probably had some people saying what happened to Chris Brown and all this other stuff. I was looking in the comments of this tweet, and apparently Chris Brown is number 26. And they were like, what? He should be top 10. So you just got all of that type of stuff. I feel like this is fair, man. If you're talking about writing music, singing, hits, longevity, sound, and all that stuff, I don't see how you could put anybody above Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, honestly, I was expecting to be more mad at this list. I don't think this is a bad list. Maybe Billboard is just more of a serious organization and didn't just want to get controversy by saying Summer Walker is top 5 or some shit or some crazy stuff, or SZA is top 10. And yeah, I have no issue with this for the most part, man. I think there's an argument that could be made by people who are sensible people that these picks are justifiable. And I think Stevie Wonder at number 1 is perfectly fine. I have no issue with it. Now, if we go down further and further, I'm sure we'll have some. Like, for example, Janet Jackson might be too high at 17.
Yeah.
We're talking about best R&B singers of all time. Singers. I think putting her at 17 might be a little too high. I mean, they put her above Al Green, Smokey Robinson, Otis Redding, Donny Hathaway. They put her above Luther Vandross.
You sound disgusting.
Janet Jackson. Come on, man. Janet Jackson never had a great voice. She had a good voice, but I don't even know if she makes top 17 female R&B singers.
Leroy. he like the biggest Janet Jackson fan I ever met.
Dog. I like Janet Jackson. I love Janet Jackson. I was in the gym bumping Rhythm Nation just a couple nights ago, man. I love Janet Jackson, but putting her above several spots above Luther Vandross is kind of crazy. As best R&B singer, nah, man. Let's be real.
I'm looking at Teddy Pendergrass. Like and this could be a me thing too. Like some of my favorite, like people I will still listen to this day is Teddy Pendergrass, Luther. I don't listen to Smokey Robinson as much, but people like that, I'm just like, man, I can't listen to Janet Jackson over them.
See, they put Janet above Patti LaBelle and Chaka Khan.
Yeah,
best singer. Come on, man.
Best R&B artist.
The biggest critique about Janet back in the day was her voice was weak. Yeah, that was the biggest critique of her in her prime. People said this.
Yeah.
Now she was saved by the production of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They saved her career, made her a star. But it was not her voice that carried her to the top, man. It was other factors. It was being related to Michael. It was, and she put in the work. She can perform. She's a great performer.
Yeah.
But above Patti LaBelle, above Chaka Khan, above Luther Vandross, nah, man, I can't go for it.
Yeah, this is where I kind of had a bit of an issue too. So at 29, they had Diana Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you feel about Diana Ross. I know you went to a concert, you took your mom to a concert, but I feel like that's extremely too I feel like she need to be towards at least top 15, man.
Yeah, that is too low. They put Erykah Badu above Diana Ross, man, right above Diana Ross.
Yeah,
that's too low. That's too low.
I feel like people don't realize how much of an impact she had back in that time, man. That was what they think Destiny Child and Beyonce is now. That's what she was back then. Like she was a star, man. And
she must have pissed somebody off on this list, or somebody got beef with her family, because that's way too low for Diana Ross.
Yeah, she got to at least be top. And I'm being generous. She got to at least be top 15.
You can't I like Mary J. Blige. You can't put her above Diana Ross, man. Come on now. What are we doing here?
Yeah, nah, I don't see that, man. I just don't get it. I think Mary is a little too high.
Yeah. Yeah. But overall, I gotta say, man, we've reacted to a lot of lists that were trash. This one is not that bad, but there are some picks here that are head scratching, to say the least.
Number 37, Frank Ocean.
Yeah, come on, man. He had 2 albums.
Yeah.
Nah,
okay. And they got 38 Maxwell.
Yeah. Barry White is way too low. 42.
Yeah,
Barry White is way too low.
Yeah.
SZA way too high at 44.
Yeah. You got Dionne Warwick at 43. And
Rihanna is below SZA. Well, I guess actually, they're about the same to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Singing wise, yeah.
I'm kind of stuck on Dionne Warwick at 43. And she, I wouldn't. I mean, I understand she's not top 15 or whatever, but she was kind of in that same position a little bit with Aretha Franklin a little bit. They were pretty good in the 60s, man. Like she kind of helped with the doors too. But that could be maybe she's a little older and stuff, and people, you know, I kind of understand that one, but it just looked kind of wild. You got her at 43, and then you got people like what?
We gonna talk about Aaliyah.
Where's she? Oh, she at 40. Yeah, 40. Yeah.
Talk about how that might be too high.
That honestly, that might be too high, man.
I think she was a good singer. I don't think she was better than Brandy or Barry White or Dionne Warwick or D'Angelo. Yeah, The Weeknd is too high too at 47.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he's not a bad singer. And that's actually probably about right for him.
Yeah. Bobby Brown, you want a hot take? I never
should be on the list.
I never did like Bobby Brown, man.
He really can't sing.
Dog, it drives me nuts when people play Bobby Brown, man. I don't like Bobby Brown. I don't like the group he was in.
You don't like New Edition?
Nah.
Damn.
I did. It could be a Bobby Brown thing, to be honest, a Bobby Brown hate thing. Because I ain't got a problem. I ain't got a problem with the other members, Johnny Gill and all. I ain't got a problem with them. I couldn't stand Bobby Brown, man.
I mean, they made a lot of music without Bobby Brown. He left the group pretty early on.
Yeah, but the ones you always hear is the ones with Bobby Brown. Like
I like Ralph Tresvant. I like when he was in the group. I like You're Not My Type of Girl. I like what are the New Edition songs do I like? I can't think of any other ones.
You like Telephone Man?
I do like Telephone Man, even though it's a stupid song. I don't hate Bobby Brown, but I don't think he's a good singer. He's kind of like in that Keith Sweat type of category for me, where I don't hate his music, but I can admit he's not a good singer.
Yeah.
And he got off on the look and the dance moves.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not the biggest. I don't hate Keith Sweat, but I'm not the biggest fan. If I hear some of his music, like some songs I do like, but the what's the song you got me tripping?
That's
I forgot the name of that song. Twisted. Yeah. That song, if that come on in the car, I'm turning it off.
Yeah.
I do not like that song.
Baby, you know. You don't feel like I feel. You sound like me singing.
Yeah, it sounds like he's just mailing it in, like somebody uncle. Yeah. But every time I hear that, I think about that Wayans Brothers episode when he was on there. Remember he was on there and I on like a play, and fucking Marlon Wayans was sitting there dancing all silly. He was performing that song. Every time I hear that song, I think about that scene.
Yeah, he was not a good singer, man, but he had some good songs, funny enough.
Yeah, especially the New Jack Swing and all that stuff. So, you know, I'm not too tough on him, but I couldn't stand Bobby Brown, man.
I'm not mad at it, man. Some people would rake you over the coals for that, but I get it. I don't think he was a great singer.
And rightfully so, man. Like I won't even argue back if somebody said that was stupid. But I mean, every time he come on, and he always come on the radio, because I've been listening a lot of the Sirius XM, and they stay playing the same shit. They play him, Janet Jackson. They play the same shit. I'm like, damn, man, can we lay off of the Bobby Brown?
And to be fair, I think his music has aged pretty badly. It's very 80s dance bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's overproduced, and it don't help that he can't sing. So it's also overplayed since it's been so many decades since this shit came out. So I get it, man.
Yeah.
I don't got Bobby Brown on my playlist either. So I understand.
Yeah. I'm looking through this other list. Is Tevin Campbell about right? 57, or is that a little too high for him?
Hey, I mean, he had voice wise, yeah.
He was a star as a kid. He was a star as a kid.
I feel like he didn't put out enough to be ranked higher.
That's what I was.
His career was pretty short.
Yeah. How you feel about and this is somebody that's kind of in this weird spot too, Rick James, being at 51.
I don't think he's a good singer. I think he's a great artist. But I can't. If we're talking about R&B singers, his voice, I don't love listening to Rick James songs for his voice. Give it to me, baby. Get home last night. Like I just don't fuck with it, man. But I do like Rick James music.
He was a good producer too.
Yeah,
he was a good producer.
But I don't know. That might be too high as far as vocal talent goes. But if we're talking about the whole package, I could see it.
Yeah. All right. Kind of rounding up this list, I'm looking at 75 to 60. This might be a crazy question because I'm not familiar with this person, but who is Ruth Brown?
I actually was going to ask you. I don't know.
I'm not sure if it's an older artist. I want to be disrespectful and be like, oh, this is a legend.
Before Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin constructed their own melodious upper floors, Atlantic Records was known as the house that Ruth built. When the first artist signed to Ahmet Ertegun and Herb Anderson's newborn label, Brown rocketed to a top 5 debut on the R&B chart with her 1949 single "So Long."
Yeah,
let me look. I'm sure I've heard this song before.
I'm looking. You reading that from her Wikipedia?
No, this is on the Billboard thing.
Okay,
on her listing.
Okay, on here they said she was known, sometimes referred as the queen of R&B.
I mean, a lot of people were at one point, but
I feel bad. I ain't know who the hell this was. I probably heard some of her music. She had look like she had a lot of R&B, jazz, blues, gospel. So this was really early on.
I'm listening to the "So Long" song. I don't know if I've heard of it before. It only got 700 views on YouTube.
Yeah, this was the "So Long" song was from 1949.
Yeah, that's a little too early for me, man. Now it might be a respect thing to put her up there, but this is like probably one of the first recorded songs. We're talking about a song from the 40s.
It looked like her last song was it looked like I guess this was maybe something on Broadway or something like that. But it looked like her last official song was 1969.
Oh, damn.
A song called "Yesterday."
Okay.
This is way before most of this stuff was before our time, but this is way before our
this
time.
might be something my grandma was into.
Yeah, or her grandma.
But this is way too early for me.
It looked like she got a lot of rock and roll in here too. So okay.
I gotta admit, there's gonna be somebody listening be like, y'all don't know this Ruth. Y'all don't know Ruth Brown. What kind of black podcast is this? Y'all don't know Ruth Brown.
I would take that, man. I would 100% take that, man. I do. One thing about me, I do not go around like I'm the expert at anything. I'm willing to say I'm not familiar with whoever game.
I'm gonna do the Frejo Star. I'm gonna do the knowledge. Do the knowledge, nigga. Michael Jordan cut his hair because of Onyx. Huh?
God, he said that.
Michael Jordan cut his hair because of Onyx. Michael Jordan cut his hair because of Onyx. Like, man, fuck out of here.
It did make you think about Diddy. Like, was he the first bald person in history?
Right. the thought that Michael Jordan even knew who Onyx were, because if you know him, you know he don't really fuck with rap at all.
Yeah.
And if you know even what he was listening to in that The Last Dance, it was like some R&B type shit, but he did not listen to rap like that. He was not in the rap. I don't think he's ever been in a rap. And there's no way he knew who Frejo Star and Sticky Fingers were. And there's no way he was bumping Onyx back in 94.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. The rest of the people on this list, you got notables. You got Bobby Womack at 69.
Yep.
I guess that's a perfect number because he was a freaky ass nigga.
Tina Marie at 66 might be too low, but
yeah.
Okay.
Anthony Hamilton. I think everybody else I really don't have a beef with.
Nah. They tried too hard to force some of the newer people in, like Jasmine Sullivan.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. They're trying too hard to force some new names into it, I guess, just to mix it up a little bit. But all right.
Natalie Cole at 55, I guess. Yeah.
So this list was not that infuriating, man. Honestly, I expected worse when you linked this to me. I was like, oh no. But it actually isn't that bad. I guess Billboard actually put some thought into putting this stuff out and just wasn't just trying to get clicks and clickbait. So respect to Billboard, man.
Yeah.
Also, was this the last New Orleans inmate that was captured, Figgy?
No, it was not. He was the second. There's one more out there.
New Orleans jail escapee Antoine Massey recaptured in the 9400 block of Stroylet Street in the Holly Grove. Holly Grove was his last statement. Dog. I'll be trolling. I talk to this girl from New Orleans, and I'll be trolling her about Holly Grove all the time. And it's funny that he was actually caught on Holly Grove.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was caught in the Holly Grove area. All right.
Yeah.
So there's one left, you said.
Yeah. So the one that's left is I want to say it's Derrick Groves. That's the one that's left now.
Okay.
I think Derrick Groves haven't been seen or heard from in a long time, man. Because at least Antoine Massey, he was remember he did an Instagram live at one point, and it's just kind of like, okay, he about to get caught, but I think he probably went on the run for like 2 more weeks, and now he got caught. But the other guy, that's the one everybody was kind of making a joke about, like, man, it looked like he could just put on a wig and look like a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude ain't been seen. It was, I want to say, it was early on. Derrick Groves, Antoine Massey, and there was another dude. They were all together. They showed them on some like cameras outside or something. I think they was in the quarters somewhere. But since then, Derrick Groves ain't been seen. But a lot of people saying he might be gone for good.
Yeah. And look, I don't know what he did, so I don't want to say he should. I don't want to root for him to be free if he did some horrible shit. But have you read his story? I seen his story. I'm gonna pull it up real quick, but he actually had a really wild story, man. Let me pull it up real quick. But it was really deep. He should be in jail for good because he was in there for murder. But okay, well, fair enough.
Yeah. So he was in there. I guess he's convicted of a double murder. And it was some other stuff that happened. I don't know if I don't know if it's his mom or somebody when he was younger got shot by I don't know if they got shot by police or something like that. And I think he kind of returned the favor and shot somebody over that. And and I think that's one of the reasons why he ended up going to jail. And it was kind of bad too. It was like a Mardi Gras. He shot somebody during Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to see if I can find it right here. But it was crazy, man. I'm like, damn.
I don't think we get into his background here. They're just saying what happened and what he was convicted of.
Yeah, damn. Oh well. But yeah, I seen something. They had like a whole story about him. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. But yeah, I don't know if he's gonna get caught. I wonder where he at, because I'm surprised Antoine Massey was still in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but a lot of people like, oh, he better be across state lines and da 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 da. But I wonder where this guy is.
In the cut, man. He might be in the wind now. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see if one of them was smart enough to actually leave the country or leave wherever. You do wonder at some point what the price of freedom is. Like, yes, it is nice to be out of prison, but also terrifying the fact that you have to look over your shoulder at all times. You can't live no kind of normal life outside of prison. He got a $50,000 reward on his ass. So you can't trust nobody. Okay, because motherfuckers done a lot worse for less. So yeah, it's very tough to live on the run. And you have to wonder, maybe he's just trying to enjoy the time he has and he'll just go back or get himself caught or whatever. But I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. But I will say a lot of people had their money on this Derrick Groves guy not getting caught. So if you betted on him, you won. You won some money.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
So we will see how long he can stay on the run, man. I'm kind of invested in the story now.
Yeah.
Anything else happened this week? That might be about it. I'm looking through the timeline. Oh yeah, John Jones, the UFC fighter, retired.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he went out ducking like a hoe. But
yeah, I see a lot of I really wasn't familiar with why people hated him so much, or what, not hating him, but a little frustrated with him. And apparently that's why I seen a few people just like, man, like, I can't stand John. He would do something like this. So apparently that was why people were so upset with him.
It was more, look, and I was into the UFC when John Jones was dominant. I don't really follow it anymore. I think it kind of just bores me now. But the thing that's annoying is that he had his last fight, I want to say almost 2 years ago or long. When was his last fight? It was a while back. And basically, I think he knew that he had no intention of fighting again, but he strung along the UFC and the fans because there's a Tom Aspinall is the name of the current heavyweight champion now after John retired, and he's been pushing to fight John, and John didn't want to fight him. But John wanted to fight other people that he knew he could beat. He wanted to fight Ngannou. He wanted to fight somebody else. But he did not want to fight this Tom Aspinall guy who's younger and probably better at this point than he is. And he ducked. He said he wanted this much money, reportedly, like some crazy amount, like 30 million. And apparently the UFC actually got him the 30 million, and he said he would do it. And then a couple of days later, he said, no, I'm not going to do it. But they kept holding out, hoping that he would change his mind. He didn't. So he went out ducking, man. It is what it is. You could call him the GOAT based on what he did in the past, but he went out ducking like a bitch. All right. This man called you out. This would have been the biggest fight in John Jones' career since, I want to say, the Daniel Cormier second fight in 2017.
Yeah.
He could have had one last payday, and even if he lost, he'd be like, hey, man, you still the GOAT. You still had a hell of a run. But he wanted to keep the undefeated streak. He wanted to keep the no losses in his in his stats.
Mm.
So he didn't want to risk it, and he quit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's done fighting. He might take a final fight against somebody he knows he can beat. But as far as him, like, he went out like a bitch. I gotta say what it is, man. He did. He ducked the fight. Somebody called him out. He didn't answer the call. He would have made a lot of money off of it. He didn't care. So,
yeah,
oh well.
Man, it's crazy.
And sidebar, I do hate. I think Floyd Mayweather has ruined this whole idea that nobody can be the GOAT unless they haven't lost.
Yeah,
I really hate that now, man. It ruined boxing. It's ruining MMA. This obsession with if you the best, you better not have never lost. And that's just annoying to me, man. Because if you fighting, you're gonna lose. Most people who are considered the GOAT have lost at something. Michael Jordan lost. LeBron lost. Wayne Gretzky lost. Every other GOAT has L's, but in fighting, you can't have any L's now after Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I ain't like that. Especially how he chose who to fight and who not. Like he moved around the right way to stay undefeated. So it wasn't like he was just trying to move up and fight a bunch of the best of the best type thing. He did fight the best during that time and stuff. I ain't gonna discredit him for that, but like he did it in a way so he knew he wanted to keep that perfect record. I know all want to keep that perfect record, but nah, like it's now like if somebody got one loss, then he's not better than Floyd because Floyd undefeated. Where it's like that's not the case, man.
I think if you avenge your losses, then it cancels it out. Like, for example, GSP and UFC. He has a few losses, but he avenged those losses. He got them back and he won the next fight.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you have that, that's as good as being undefeated. Like you got your lick back. So
yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's normal. Like you don't really see anybody in the whole career go undefeated in anything. Like at one point, everybody lose. Everybody had bad games and all that stuff. What profession do you ever see where somebody's just straight up never lost anything? Like that's kind of
LeVar Ball.
Yeah,
never lost.
Yeah, but like you see, like you maybe see it in high school because you see like some quarterbacks like Kyler Murray never lost a game in high school. But then now you go to you go to college and now you're going through your thing and you go to the NFL and now you're going through your thing. You at some point you suffer these type of losses. So it seems that's not normal to me. And to try to make it normal, like I'm the best because I never lost, especially the way he moved around. I don't know. It's just it's like people shit on people so bad when they do lose, where you don't look at them the same. Like somebody like a Deontay Wilder. I thought he had a good run, man. I thought he had a good run to the point I wanted to watch him fight. But just the last, I want to say his last two fights where he
his last few fights, man, he kind of went out sad.
Yeah, but
what's his name? Fury.
Yeah, specifically those fights with Fury, that's when it was kind of like he lost those, and it's just like, damn, like he lost so bad where people don't want to even talk about him like that. And I'm like, damn, I wonder if that has something to do with how Floyd is undefeated and stuff like that, where you can't even be in the category now because you lost. And I know he didn't come back after that, so that's a little different. But it seemed like once you lose, it's just you can't even be in that conversation.
Yeah, well, Anthony Joshua is one too, another boxer who was up there. People were talking about the dream fight between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua was a heavyweight champion. He lost to a overweight Mexican fighter named Andy Ruiz, and it was probably the most upsetting boxing fight since Tyson and who was that dude he lost to? The fucking Buster Douglas. That's right. Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas, one of the biggest boxing upsets of all time. This guy, nobody thought was going to beat Anthony Joshua, and he beat him. Anthony Joshua did come back, and he beat him pretty easily. The guy came back in worse shape than he was in the first fight. It was crazy. But after that fight, I don't think anybody really took Anthony Joshua seriously. Even though, everybody has a bad day. Everybody has a bad, for whatever reason, they just don't perform the way they think they should. And then in boxing, it's like you have that one bad loss. Well, you're done now. You're cooked. Don't care anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, John Jones retired. He ducked on his way out, and that's all there is to that. Anything else, man? I think that might about do it for the podcast this week.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm sure I'm gonna think of something as soon as we log off. Like, damn,
probably something's gonna happen.
Yeah,
but we'll save it for next podcast, man. How about that?
Yeah. All right.
But we appreciate everybody who came through and listened to the podcast. Of course, make sure you listen to Figgy Fig and the Loop 10 to 2 Sports Radio 610. Figgy's mixtape 120 Monday through Friday. Make sure you tune in. He always got some good shit cooking up on the mixtape, man.
Yeah.
And besides that, we will see you guys next week, most likely. So until then,
peace.